Hey everyone, and welcome to Already Cancelled. I am Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about Star Trek The Next Generation Season 2, Episode 17. It's called Samaritan Snare. So, full spoilers for the episode, as always. This episode features the crew kind of split in two. Picard goes off to a starbase, much to his dismay, with Wesley, more and wise with Wesley. They're not actually going for the same reasons, they just both happen to be going to the base. And they're off doing that. It's a medical reason for Picard. Wesley's getting some sort of exam, which is irrelevant to the episode outside of the fact that's why he's there. I mean, we don't see any of it, we don't hear about it past.
It might be something that is relevant next episode. Whether or not he passes or fails the exams. Recently, they've shown a level of continuity that this might be referenced. But
well, they said they passed at the end.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, but it might have impact.
Oh, sure, but they did confirm he passed because they said that he was allowed to stay studying on the Enterprise because he passed. So that's that. But so that's the B plot, and then the A plot is the rest of the Enterprise answer the stress call, and they meet a ship, a Paklin ship. And we meet this new race of aliens we've not seen before, and they're requesting help. It's engineering related. Geordi offers, and he kind of becomes a bit of a captive over the course of the story, and they kind of have to try and get him back via trickery and not by force. And that's basically the gist of the episode. So, did you enjoy Samaritan Snare?
It's not that good, let's be honest.
No, it's not that good. There's a couple of decent moments, but otherwise it's a pretty forgettable and dull episode to sit through.
It is. What I will say is I was a little hasty last time. At the end of the episodes, we'll look at the description for the next one.
Mm-hmm.
And I made some comments about it better give me a good reason why Picard is going away for this medical procedure. And I at least made a point of acknowledging that, hey, it could have just been done by Pulaski on the ship, but he didn't want that. So I'll give it credit in that regard.
Nah, mate, it was a whole story beat. It was a whole character thing that he didn't want it. So, you're full of shite and should not open your big fat mouth. As basically.
Hey, come on. I'm admitting here that I just assumed they wouldn't have acknowledged this, and I was wrong. Being the bigger man here.
I mean, this was you jumping to conclusions anyway, because you had no idea what the surgery was. Is it something Pulaski can do?
It was because, if I recall, in the description it said routine surgery, which is why I felt that Pulaski could have done it, and I was like, this feels weird.
I don't know. I can buy that the on-ship doctor can perform something that is considered routine in the sense that it's routine to the specific place that you go to get this done, right? It's not like every doctor can do heart surgery. And I know we're in Star Trek, and I know that everything's a bit more advanced. I don't think it's out the realm of the possibility that when you actually get the information, it might make more sense.
I started this by saying I was wrong.
So, Picard's away for this procedure. It's a heart. We actually find out later. He refers to it as a cardiac replacement. Yeah, which obviously is something we can do.
That sounds pretty serious, not routine.
Yeah, but pretty routine in the world of Star Trek: The Next Generation. And we don't know what it is at first, though. He's just arguing with Pulaski. She's saying, "You've put this off long enough. It needs to happen." And he's like, "Fine, I'll go to the base." And she's like, "No, I can do it here." He's like, "No, I'm not having it. It's about image. It's about image. I'm not having it here." And he's like, "Look, it'll be safe. Your secret will be safe with me." "Nope, I'm not doing it here." So he's very upset about it. And we've already heard that Wesley's going off to the starbase for his test. And Picard comes on the bridge and says to Wesley, "Hey, you're going via the shuttle to Starbase 5? And he's like, "Yes, sir." He's like, "Well, I'll be joining you. Gear up." And he's like, "Oh, you will?" "Yes, sir." And there's a quick scene explaining that Wesley's kind of like nervous about how because it's like a 5-hour trip or something like that. When they get to the shuttle bay, or they get into the shuttle, it's kind of awkward for a bit. Wesley's trying to make conversation. Picard's reading his book. He doesn't want to talk about it. He lets out this cardiac replacement, but he doesn't really want to talk about anything else. But enough time passes that eventually, it's when he gets the tea and the sandwiches out that ultimately he ends up opening up a little bit more.
Yeah, worth noting though that Wesley is a bit of an inconsiderate dick here, where Picard's there, quite content, just reading his book, and Wesley's like, "Look, I know you don't like me." I'm like, "Okay," and Picard literally moves further away to a different chair, and Wesley still turns around and tries to talk to him. So just let the man read his book.
However, there is one line of dialogue here that I have to point out that made me spit out my drink when it was ordered. Wesley keeps trying to get personal. He keeps trying to talk to Picard about, did you not, wish you had kids? Did you never get married? And Picard explains, he was too focused on his career, and he was, being a dedicated Starfleet officer with high goals, wanting to get high in the ranks. That usually comes with a sacrifice, and not having time for normal family life, and so on is usually part of that gig. And I can't remember the exact thing that Picard says. He says something about having relations with a woman or whatever, and Wesley says, and I quote, "Oh, don't worry, sir. When it comes to women, I'm in complete control." Wesley Crusher thinks that he is.
I don't feel this is entirely by choice.
What does he mean though? Like, does he think he's a little Casanova? It wasn't that many episodes ago that he fell in love with some princess, and he Guinan was giving him like tips and hints every 2 seconds.
Maybe that ended really badly, and he went full incel.
I'm completely. If anything else, I was shocked that Picard didn't immediately just burst out laughing because it was such a ridiculous statement. And this is the thing. It's not because it's just Wesley. Any 15-year-old boy saying this would be laughable.
It really would, because let's be honest, 15-year-old boys, no, they're not in control.
No, nor 25 or 35 or 45-year-old boys. Let's be honest. But
they
50-year-olds,
might be more in control,
yeah,
but definitely not 15.
But 50-year-olds, no. And I couldn't believe he said it.
Not in control.
It's one thing to say, no, I'm pretty comfortable and I get along with women, or I'm not too worried about that because I'm pretty, I it's one thing saying I'm not super nervous or I feel comfortable around women or something like that. No, he says he's in complete control. The phrasing kills me.
Yeah. It's kind of great.
But yeah, Picard tells a story about how he lost his heart, or how his heart needed replaced. Didn't physically lose it. He got stabbed. He was in a ruffian starbase or whatever, and it was. I mean, it's changed now, but back in his early days as a cadet, it was a bit of a Wild West.
Feels like this is a bit of a. He's not too happy with the gentrification that's been going on. He misses the Wild West areas of star bases.
I don't know about that. Especially since I feel like there's always going to be more Wild Westy ones like further out. Like
probably, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about that. But he tells us a story. He got into a bit of a fight and got stabbed. He learned a lesson that day. But and they get to the starbase and they've kind of bonded a little bit, and they're both kind of thankful and said they enjoyed their trip together. Although my favourite thing about this story is that Picard is munching sandwiches the entire time as he's telling this story.
Yeah. You get the impression that Patrick Stewart was just hungry that day.
Yeah. Can we do this scene with some sandwiches, mate? Because they'll even look at the sort of sandwiches that you would get at a catering table if they'd got like catering.
They'd literally just gone, right, what have we got over there? Just grab them, stick them on a plate.
Yeah. So Picard goes in for his surgery, and they're all dressed in these weird red outfits. You know, it's kind of like if they designed a surgery outfit, but they had the cap attached to the rest of it, so there's just like a window for their face.
It's like a hood on the the disease control outfits.
Kind of. There's more shape to the top of it though. Like it's got like a sort of rigid shape. If anything, it reminded me more of a nun than anything else.
I can see that.
It's like a red nun. Anyway, so they're doing their surgery, and then we cut away. Of course, we come back, and they start like, oh shit, something's not quite right here. And there's some technical medical mumbo jumbo about something that's going wrong. And it's like, oh, this is bad. And eventually, of course, they tell the Enterprise that he's basically next to death, and that presumably Pulaski's going to have to come in here as one of the best doctors in the galaxy to patch him up and make sure it was okay. Of course, the tension here is supposed to be from the fact that the Enterprise is currently engaged in a hostage situation with Geordi, as it is. And, but other than that, once they do come back, Picard wakes up, Pulaski's there, and he's like, oh no, it's you.
He's like, you bitch, what did you do?
And she's like, I saved your life, but don't worry, your image is safe with me, I will not tell a soul. And of course, the final scene of the episode is Picard coming on the bridge, and everyone starts cheering because he's okay. And he's like, "No, you quiet down right this instant. You will stop this clapping." And it's maybe it's an interesting bit of character for Picard that he's so wrapped up in the idea of like presenting himself as the captain, as the rock that will not waver, to be the steady hand for his crew, that he doesn't want to appear to be vulnerable ever.
It's a strangely interesting thematic link from the last episode. With, I can't remember what I'm going to say, it's Wesley's shit last episode. In that, the whole idea of...
Justify yourself right now.
Yeah. Riker was like, I think it was Riker, saying, hey, when the captain makes a decision, you don't question him because he's the captain.
Okay.
And this is kind of Picard going, no, I'm the captain. I can't undermine that. This is why people don't question me. And he's worried that people might question him if they think he's weak for whatever reason.
Yeah, and of course he's completely foolish. No one would ever think that. Everyone is nothing but respect for him. But
of course, yeah.
He's scared of that. And of course the episode ends with him doing his classic engage line and this whatever. That is the episode. Of course, we've glossed over the entire A plot of the episode, which is like fairly glossable, overable.
It is somehow less interesting.
Well, it is less interesting.
It's less interesting than Picard and Wesley eating sandwiches.
That was the best scene of the episode, though.
I know, but I'm just saying, when you boil it down to it, it shouldn't be less interesting than that.
Geordi goes over to help these Packlids, yeah. And they're kind of a weird race. The way they talk is kind of unique. They're kind of non-committal to everything they say. And
they kind of go around in circles, like, what are you doing? Oh, well, we're looking for things that make us go. Well, why don't you go then? Well, because we can't go. Ship's broken, so we need something to make us go.
Yeah, like, make us strong, make us more, make us... Like, they're very, very distinct way of speaking. And ultimately, it boils down to Geordi's helping them. I thought it was a bit bold of him to offer to just beam over before they even understand what they're really wanting, because it's very vague. Like, they don't give him a straight answer. Riker's asking, and he's getting frustrated because they're just being...
Let's be honest.
Evasive.
This is why Riker isn't the captain.
Yeah, he even gets angry at one point when they're giving him shit. But Geordi goes over, and at first it's fine until Troy comes on the bridge and says, "No. They're not feeling helpless or wanting to help. They've got something going on here. Geordi's in danger."
I have a question.
Yes.
Is this the first time Troy has been useful? Like, actually offered something that wasn't immediately apparent to everyone else?
Kind of. I say kind of because ultimately it never accomplishes anything, and the situation happens anyway because everyone just kind of disproves, or at least they think they disprove what she's saying.
Okay, yeah, but it does put them on edge and alert to look out for things.
Yeah, right. Riker calls and says, "Are you okay?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm fine. Why wouldn't I be?" And everyone thinks everything's okay until Geordi wants to leave, and the aliens steal his phaser, and they want to make more. Turns out they've got an advanced bit of tech. They've got a duplicator, so they want to just take stuff and duplicate it so that they've now got it in the spades. And they want to be a fighter ship now, even though they're not really a fighter ship in the first place. So they're going to make Geordi, make them fighter strips and strong, and blah, 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 blah. Ultimately, though, Riker and Worf have a plan to just kind of like bluff them and kind of like try and send a hidden code to Geordi and sort of as if they're going to leave him behind. And Geordi just kind of gets it, and they kind of put on a bit of a show where it's like, okay, you have to get to this range before you attack the Enterprise. And the Enterprise just gives them basically a harmless light show, and Geordi's like, oh, well, they've beaten you. And it's like, it's just the whole thing. Ultimately, it's just kind of forgettable, and just goes in really quickly.
It really is, yeah. Like, there are a couple of nice beats, I guess. Like, when Riker makes the objectively wrong call and just sending Geordi over, Worf kind of holds him up on that. It's like, we should probably get more information before we do this, because this seems sketchy.
Yeah, and because they say what are you here for? Is like, oh, we're here for things. Well, can you be more specific? Just things that make us go. Need things, and Geordie says, well, I mean, I've scanned the ship. It's all engineering. I mean, I could fix it up in an hour or whatever. It's not a big deal. And I was thinking, nah, this seems a bit too vague. You're gonna have to like confirm that this is a safe place for him to go, and like you say, Worf kind of pulls him up for it, and I guess it's a nice touch that Riker not being the captain and not being as experienced does make this mistake, but it seems a bit obvious of a mistake to make.
It does, and it felt weird to me that Worf didn't kind of recommend a security detachment go with him. Like, when he's actively acknowledging, no, this is weird, maybe we shouldn't send him over, and then to not insist that they send someone with him. Just go on, just send him on his own anyway.
Yeah, so that's a bit odd. The only other thing we really need to talk about is that the new character from last episode, who was back in this episode, I'm going with the second hypothesis I had last episode, which was they were setting her up to be a recurring character and for some reason changed their mind. Whether or not she didn't want to come back or they wanted rid of her or whatever. But
I suspect it's more... I mean, looking at it from now, I suspect it's more to do with the actress maybe got another job, something. I don't know. Because there's nothing in the character that makes me feel like they would have changed their mind or there would have been poor reception.
Yeah, she was fine, like because she's there, early on when Geordie's there, and I think Wesley might even be there, and she's kind of this comic relief character who's kind of always nervous, and she was fine last episode, and because she was new, I was expecting her to be Borgified, and she wasn't. This episode, I was like, okay, is she going to have some sort of ending here? And she didn't, and she's not even show up again after the first couple of scenes where she was there for some comedy, and I'm like, yeah, she was meant to be a recurring character, and for whatever reason, that didn't happen. It stopped after this one, but given that they had her fill this role twice in a row and gave her like a proper introduction last episode, where this is her first time on the ship, and she has this little incident with Picard. She seemed likable enough. I mean, I'm not that upset she's gone, but
it's a shame because she was likable. I could see this growing into a fun character that I would have liked to have around for most of the show.
This was Tilly ahead of her time.
Kind of was, yeah. And we like Tilly, so that's not a problem. Unlike some people, but I mean, it was only 2 episodes. I'm not attached enough to care that she's gone. But like I say, it's just a shame that I could see the potential.
Yeah. So yeah, that's basically it. I have nothing else to add. It's a pretty hum-ho episode.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the worst episode. It's not offensively bad.
No, it's not.
Just kind of boring.
It's not painful to watch. It feels after the last episode, where even from the first scene, it felt like this is an important episode. This episode immediately felt like, yeah, this is going to be fluff.
Yeah, it's fine. It's watchable, but it's just kind of boring. It's not very interesting at all. It's not even bad enough to make fun of. It's a very mid-tier episode.
Except Wesley's line of dialogue.
Except that, yeah, which, I mean, you can make fun of at least half of his lines of dialogue.
None of them are as bad as that. That is the worst. That is the worst line of dialogue he's had in the entire show up until this point.
I'll say it's top 3 at least. I'm not confident enough without going back with a fine tune.
Nah, it's just easily the most laughable line he's had all show so far. I'll be surprised if he tops it. I can't see how you top this, but that has been episode 17, Samaritan Snare. What is coming next time, you may ask? Episode 18 is called Up the Long Ladder. And here's the description on IMDb. An antique distress signal leads the 2 lost 22nd century Earth colonies, each facing doom in different ways, one by fire, the other by prolonged cloning. Okay, so the Enterprise comes across these 2 colonies from 22nd century, and
gonna have to make a hard choice of which one to save. I assume.
And yeah, interesting that they're not. It doesn't say they're fighting each other. Usually, when they get an episode like this, they'll be at war or something. But
which is why I made that assumption there. I mean, again, could be completely wrong here, but it feels like the crisis is they've only got the time and resources to save one of them. Which one do they choose?
Maybe. But there you go, that'll be next time. So let us know what you thought of this episode in the comments below. Like and subscribe, all that stuff. All of that helps us out. Ding the bell to make sure you get the notifications on YouTube. You can support us in other ways, such as rating the audio podcast on Apple Podcasts. Give us 5 stars. More people will find us that way. You can support us financially over at patreon.com/MailFuzzTV. And you can do that for as little as $1 per month, and you get bonuses, outtakes, extra episodes of some of the movie podcasts we do. You can also, of course, get voting rights at the higher tiers, and you get early access to some stuff at the higher tiers, including this podcast, the Star Wars review. So, Star Trek review. So, go do that.
The Mandalorian's finally getting to him.
I don't know. There's too much Star Wars. That's all that says to me. But that's us. So thank you once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching Star Trek, guys. And to everyone but Connor, live long and prosper.